Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and today we have some more bad news on the Unity front. And this is massively bad news, to be honest. Well, let's just jump right into it. The world of Unity and layoffs have basically gone together hand in hand since they went public. Way back in June 30th, 2022, there were what I called at the time major layoffs at Unity. This was 4% of their workforce, about 200 employees at the time. Yeah, that was major at the time. And then on top of that, we have 2023 January, another round. They announced that they were going to lay off the 4% then, and then they laid off an additional 284 employees at that point in time. And then we followed that up in May of 2023 by laying off 8% of their workforce. This was, of course, the third round of layoffs. And then we had all kinds of very bad things happen. We had the runtime fee, the tire fire that came of that. The CEO, John Ricciutello, he got ousted. The new CEO came in and said there was going to be a company reset. The one thing we heard about with the end of last year was this one. Another 3.8% of the workforce was laid off when they closed Weta Digital. Now, this could have been the end of it, but as we found out today, this is definitely not the end of it at Unity. As this Reuters article that was just updated about an hour ago says, they are laying off 25% of their staff. So before I use terms like massive and major to describe 5%, 25%. This is actually 1,800 staff members that are going to be let go at Unity. Yeah, so this is a pretty drastic cut. And if you're impacted by this, of course, my heart goes out to you. We've had far too many layoffs in the game development industry as it is, and this one is going to hurt. So this is coming from the Reuters article. Basically, video game provider Unity Software will target laying off approximately 25% of its workforce, or 1,800 jobs, the company said in regulatory filing and internal company memo on Monday. After the announcement, Unity shares went up nearly 5% in after-hours trading. The joy of a free market that constantly rewards letting people go. So this is the San Francisco company's largest layoff ever, with completion expected by the end of March, the company said. Well, Unity is not widely recognized outside the gaming industry. Over 1.1 million game creators rely on its software toolkit each month, including the makers of popular Pokemon Go, Beat Saber, and Hearthstone games. Kind of a random list to choose, but okay. So Monday's deep job cuts will affect all teams, regions, and areas of business, the company told Reuters. The layoffs come shortly after interim CEO Jim Whitehurst announced a company reset in November. That was when he was hired to replace John Ricciutello. We are reducing the number of things we are doing in order to focus on our core businesses and drive our long-term success and profitability. Now, it was interesting. This actually came up in the past, and I said that it was kind of good that they're going to focus on their core business, which is game engine. So people say to me, oh, no. Their core business is mobile advertising. And I don't know which one is true at this point in time. So let's do hope that they're focusing on the game development side of things and maybe a little bit less from the whole, iron source side of things. But only time will tell. Anyways, carrying on. Whitehurst provides no specifics on structural changes to come. A company spokesperson confirmed that there will be additional changes coming. This is the fourth round of layoffs the company has conducted since July 2022. The layoffs and company reset follow a tumultuous period for Unity. That is the understatement of the year. In September last year, the company tried to impose a new runtime fee pricing policy, which charged new fees to its game developers if certain revenue and install thresholds were met. Following a developer revolt and a steep drop-off in share price, the company revamped the new fees. So we've litigated that one pretty heavily on the channel already. Following the controversy, then Unity CEO John Ricciutello retired, and the company appointed former IBM president Whitehurst as interim CEO and president, and Sequoia Capital partner Rolef Botha as board chairman. In November, Whitehurst announced the first part of the company reset, which included terminating the agreement with the visual effects company founded by Lord of the Rings director, closing offices, and no longer mandating employees work from offices. Monday's layoff is the second part of the company reset. So I covered the Weta closure. I called it Unity's $1.6 billion mistake, because that is what they paid for Weta Digital shortly after they went public. That is, Unity went public, not Weta. So Unity was founded nearly 2 decades ago by 3 Danish engineers, gained popularity among game developers for its game engine, makes it simpler to develop and publish games across different platforms, such as via mobile or virtual reality. It's also used in other industries like film and automotive for 3D visualization and virtual reality. After its IPO in 2020, Unity stock reached a peak of around $200 in November 2021, but subsequently fell below $30 last year. Its shares have jumped nearly 40% since Whitehurst announced the company reset. And on that topic, here is where they are at right now. So they went up 3% on the day, and a further 3.8% in after-hour trading. So yeah, blood for the blood god once again when it comes to layoffs in Wall Street, and this is probably why free market economies don't work. But that's a much different conversation than this one. Again, my heart goes out to anybody that was impacted at Unity. Now, there is an argument that Unity does need this, in that first off, their economic viability doesn't seem to work right now, which is why they tried something like the runtime fee. And they're still, I think they're about double the size of Epic Games right now. So it could be, if they focus on the core industries, it may work out. But you never want to hear about anybody losing their job in this case. And if this is just more desperation cuts to try and staunch the bleeding, definitely not a good sign. So anyways, some pretty massive layoffs over at Unity. To the people that are impacted, I hope it works out for you in the long run. I know losing your job is always a terrible thing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.